a sheep, a two, a kangaroo, a clothesline out the back.
Welcome. This is I Go Travel with Don Barnett. What's making that noise? Where's it coming from? That is the sound of the kookaburra bird. We are in Australia now. One of the great icons of the land down under is the kookaburra bird that sings or cackles to mark its territory. Its familiar cackle is heard in the city and across the country. They eat mice, poisonous snakes, large insects, small rodents, and the young of other birds, usually swooping down on their prey and crushing them with their big, strong beaks. My old traveling partner, old Igo, and I hopped an Air Canada jet out of Vancouver and rode it non-stop for 15 hours across the Pacific Ocean, landing in Brisbane, Australia. The national park we wanted to go to from Brisbane was just north up the coast, about 300 kilometers. The park is an island just off the mainland, and it is about 125 kilometers long and 25 kilometers wide. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which means that it has some really unique and amazing natural and cultural wonders. This is what it's all about. Enjoying the nice sand, hot sun, and warm water, safe even for the kids. It draws a crowd of people who set up along the creek. You can walk along this boardwalk upstream on the creek, where the real adventure begins. And into the water we go. There is nothing like fresh water to cool off on a hot day.
Yeah.
Then, of course, a little bite at the end of the day. You can fly up in a small plane like these ones here and land right on the beach. But we decided to drive up by car. Names change over time sometimes. The island was originally named by the English pioneers as Fraser Island, and it became known as the Great Sandy National Park, a United Nations international park. But in recent years, the name has been changing from Fraser Island to the word Kagari. And Kagari is a Bachula, indigenous people of the local area. That is what they called the island. And the name has been now called Kagari. Kagari in the Bachula language means paradise, and a paradise it is. This is a photo from a park brochure showing a park employee who is a Bachula person. The Bachula are having an increasing influence in running the park. With 350 to 500,000 tourists each year, changes are needed. The amount of sunscreen being washed off into the water is polluting the water. And with the 90,000 backcountry hikers and campers using the beautiful sand dunes as a toilet. Well, Kagari cannot remain a paradise forever. There are changes needed, and they are on the horizon. These ferries, or barges, as the people here call them, carry your vehicle from the mainland onto the island. We were lined up waiting to get onto these barges. Before boarding the barge, air had to be released from the tires to better drive on the soft sand. Basically, the only roads on the island are on the beaches and some rough roads through the bush. Here we are at last on the beach with quite a few other vehicles a nice day and fresh air and a unique experience. Accommodations range from camping in designated beach areas to glamping resorts with tents and canvas cabins and dome structures. Here is one of the glamping resorts that we stayed at. There are also regular hotels on Kagari. The night sky was often an array of changing cloud and light. Sitting around the campfire in the warm tropical climate was a very pleasant experience indeed. Yeah, it was all pretty pleasant until that fella brought that poisonous toad into the campsite. Yeah, I guess they were called cane toads because they were brought in to eat the bugs that were eating up the sugar cane crop. These cane toads are poisonous to people, and you got to know how to hold them. The cane toad, the trouble was it did not discriminate between good bugs and bad bugs and ate up everything. And now they've got a program designed to kill the cane toads. One of the people at the campfire let this spider crawl onto his arm. It was about the size of the palm of your hand. Yeah, those things can move really fast. And I did not like it one bit when that thing was hanging on the top of my tent when I was trying to sleep. Yeah, it is called a huntsman spider. And pretty scary. It scares all of the tourists. Kind of like you, Igo, a pretty scary looking fella. I was told that you should never try to stomp on it because it can get pretty aggressive and come at you. Here is another Australian insect. You can see by the steps there that these stick bugs are pretty good size. But the important part, I guess, is that it's not really poisonous. This blue jellyfish falls into the same category. Painful bite, but rarely deadly to people. The vertical blue line is a tentacle attached to the main body. These tentacles can be up to 10 meters long. If you do happen to get bit, some say to apply urine to the wound. Other people say no, you're better off to apply vinegar. And somebody else told me that neither one is any good. Just immerse the wound in hot water and go see a doctor. Quite a few snakes on the island. Some poisonous and some not poisonous. This little fella is a carpet snake and not poisonous and a friendly little fella. There is quite a variety of birds, insects, and small reptiles on Kagari. However, there are some iconic Australian wildlife not on the island. Animals no longer on the island are the brumbies. The brumbies is the name given to the wild horses that were brought onto the island in early English history times. There are no kangaroos on the island, and very few of these cute little guys, wallabies. It is even more difficult on an island for wildlife to escape the ravages of the hunter. In the water, both crocodiles and sharks tend to be in the warmer water to the north, closer to the equator. However, both crocodiles and sharks do frequently swim by the shoreline. Tourists love the ocean beach and the inland lakes, creeks, forests, and hiking trails. However, the ocean itself is off limits except for fishing. Here you see people enjoying one of the creeks that flows into the ocean, but they stay away from the dangerous ocean itself. Kagari often is described as the most dangerous beach in the world, partly due to riptides and the kinds of fish in it. Wild dogs or dingoes roam the island, and it is a popular hangout for great white sharks, crocodiles, poisonous jellyfish, stingrays, and venomous snakes. But there is the beautiful side of Kagari. Inland, there are over 100 lakes, many with crystal clear waters and soft silica sands. There are no microplastics in the water, like is found many places elsewhere in the world. The pure, clean water here lacks nutrients, and consequently, there are few fish in the lakes, and therefore fishing is not allowed. As I look at that lake, it doesn't look too clear and clean to me. No, that is just oil from the surrounding tea trees that seeps into the water, and that results in that reddish brown and unclean appearance. Despite that reddish brownish color, the water is clean and clear and pure, and it's a great swimming spot. Since early times, tea tree oil has been used as an antiseptic and herbal medicine. It's used to treat ailments such as acne and athlete's foot, lice and mite infections, and insect bites. So don't be fooled by that reddish brown water. Well, maybe that tree tea oil would help get the lice and mites out of my beard. Half the world's unique perched lakes are on this island. A perched lake, like Lake Bunjamin here, means that the lake floor is above the water table. Lake Bunjamin is the largest perched lake in the world. The island has it all: sand dunes, lakes, and tall rainforests. We are driving into the interior on one of these bush roads. A vehicle access permit is required with your high clearance four-wheel drive vehicle. Look at the size of these trees. We are at a place called Central Station, which was once a major logging operation. You can see the dark charred remains from a major forest fire that ripped through this area several years ago. These plants here are ferns that attach to tree trunks, and depending on how they look, they're called either elk horns or stag horns. Several plants grow together in clusters. Ferns reproduce by spores only and do not have seeds or flowers. Back on the ocean beach, some in our group wanted to fish. You can see the size of their fishing rods on the top of this truck, so it looks like there are some big fish to catch. You can fish in the ocean, but fishing on the inland lakes is not allowed. Hey, look ahead, it's a dingo. It is illegal to feed these wild dogs, and visitors are not allowed to bring their dogs onto the island. Dingoes run in packs of a dozen or so, and there is probably 100 or so on the island, but their numbers seem to be in decline. Dingoes are free to roam, and you need to be aware of them. Measures to protect people have been taken. For example, they have built fences in places to keep the dingoes and tourists separate. We are on the road to the Valley of the Giants. Some trees here are over 1,000 years old, over 200 meters tall, and over 4 meters in diameter. Remember, we are on a total sand island, so these giants grow in sand. Sand has a great nutrient value if water can be applied, and vegetation growth can then be terrific. This area is one of the few places on Earth where a rainforest exists on sand dunes. The depth of the sand here reaches up to 100 meters below sea level. The beach is always a great place to relax, catch some sun, or do a little fishing, or just take a drive. A wet or damp sand is hard packed, so there's really no danger of sinking down like you might in the soft sand. Looks like something ahead. What is that? It looks like some kind of an old relic. Sure enough, an old shipwreck. It has deteriorated so much that the park now says no more climbing or exploring on it. It is the SS Mahino, built in 1905. It saw service in World War I, where it worked as a freighter and a hospital ship. It made a lot of trips between Australia and New Zealand. But in 1935, its tow line broke during a cyclone, and it drifted over here to its final resting place. We are getting off the barge and onto the mainland to head for home. But we had a great time in paradise, or as the Butula people say, Kagari. I thought it would be appropriate to thank those who helped develop this video. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. No, not you. All you did on that trip was lay around in the sand and loaf and soak up the sun and lay in the water. Oh. I was thinking more like Jim and Alice Smith. Alice took all of those photographs and got a lot of information that we use in this video. Yeah, both Igo and the old grouch say thanks. Well, we are back up from the land down under. Hit the subscribe button if you liked what you saw, and that will let you know when we're bringing more videos onto the internet. Here is how you Google to find more videos that I've made. Just do a normal Google search under this name. Start with a little @ sign, @Don Barnett 5090. And when the website comes up, just click on my name, Don Barnett, and look for the word playlists and hit playlists and scroll down and you'll see all of the playlists. And each playlist includes several videos. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you down the road. This is I Go Travel with Don Barnett.